We begin quietly, almost without noticing, with a city that has already lived more lives than its residents could imagine. This is not the Rome of emperors nor the Rome of triumphs and conquest. This is Rome around the year 1700, a city that has become slower, denser, and quieter. A place where the past has not disappeared but has settled into everyday life. Using modern tools, old engravings, maps, and architectural plans have been gently brought into motion. The camera can shift its angle, glide along streets, and enter spaces that once existed only in still images. This is not an attempt to restore everything exactly as it was. It is an attempt to come closer, to step into the past, and move through it as if it had never fully ended. Rome in the 17th and early 18th centuries was a city where the grandeur of architecture blended seamlessly with the lives of thousands of people drawn to the spiritual center of the Catholic world. At the heart of this world lay St. Peter's Square, not merely an open space, but a grand stage where history, faith, and human experience unfolded every day. Designed as a symbol of papal power, the square impressed with its monumental architecture. The sweeping colonnades stretched out like open arms, embracing the potoque of pilgrims arriving from across Europe. At the center stood the ancient obelisk, a silent witness to time, while the magnificent facade of St. Peter's Basilica, crowned by its vast dome, dominated the skyline, emphasizing the spiritual authority of the church. Here, across the stone pavement, life was constantly in motion. People in long cloaks, monks, merchants, nobles, and humble pilgrims all gathered in one place. They came to receive the papal blessing, to take part in grand processions, or simply to stand in awe of the overwhelming scale of the space. The sound of bells echoed through the square, blending with the murmur of voices and the rhythm of footsteps. St. Peter's Square was not only a religious center, but also a political one. It was here that the power of the papacy was fully revealed, both spiritual and earthly. Every architectural element, every line and proportion, was carefully designed to inspire a sense of order, velicia, and divine presence. In this place, Rome revealed its true essence, a city where art, faith, and human life came together to create the unique atmosphere of an extraordinary era. Now we will continue our journey and move to the next place called Ponte Sant'Angelo. This bridge was built during the time of the Roman Empire and served as a direct road to the mausoleum of Emperor Hadrian. Today we know it as Castel Sant'Angelo. In the 17th century, this was one of the most important routes in Rome. This is where pilgrims passed on their way to the Vatican. Later, the bridge was decorated with statues of angels, which became symbols of faith and protection. And now we will see what this place looked like in that era. We continue our journey, and now we are in the Roman Forum. This was the heart of ancient Rome. This is where the life of the city took place. Here, merchants worked, people shared news, and both politicians and ordinary citizens met. In this square, laws were made, orators gave speeches, and the fate of the empire was decided. There were temples here where people prayed to the gods, and basilicas, places for courts and business meetings. This was a place where power, religion, and everyday life came together. By the 17th century, everything had changed. The once magnificent buildings were partially destroyed, columns stood a delna from each other, and grass grew between them. But even then, this place did not lose its meaning. People came here to see the remains of a great past and to feel the spirit of Rome. When you stand here, you understand. This is not just ruins. This is a place where an entire civilization once lived. we continue our journey. And now we stand before the Colosseum. But this is not just a building. This is a place where life and death were once decided. Thousands of people gathered here. They didn't come just to watch. They came to feel fear, tension, and power. In ancient times, this arena was filled with gladiator battles. Men fought for survival, for glory, and sometimes for their freedom. The crowd roared, emperors watched, and fate was decided in seconds. But by the 17th century, everything had changed. The Colosseum was no longer a place of games. It stood partially Reconstruction, its stones worn by time, its arches broken, its arena silent. People no longer came for spectacle, instead they came for a different purpose. The Colosseum became a place of memory, a place connected to the early history of Christianity, where many believed martyrs had once suffered. Pilgrims walked through these ruins, not as spectators, but as witnesses of the past. Parts of the structure were even used as a source of building materials. Stones were taken from here to construct other buildings across Rome. And yet, despite Reconstruction, despite time, this place never lost its power. Standing here, you can still feel the weight of history. You can almost hear the echoes of the crowd, the clash of steel, the silence that followed. Today, it is quiet. But if you pause, you will understand this is not just ruins. This is a place where the story of Rome still lives. A huge thank you to everyone who watched until the very end. Your support is what keeps me going. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new upload. There's even more exciting content coming your way.